The battlefield Earth. The morning sky above Melbourne turned from azure to obsidian as the massive Centauri warship entered Earth's atmosphere. Captain Nadia Reeves watched from the rooftop of the Galactic Relations Division headquarters, her face betraying no emotion despite the spectacle above. The ship's hull reflected no light, absorbing the sun's rays like a cosmic predator. "That's the third arrival this month," said Lieutenant Jackson, handing her a steaming cup of coffee. "And certainly not the last," Nadia replied, accepting the drink. "The Meridians are due within the hour. Their scout ships were detected passing Jupiter yesterday. 15 years had passed since Earth's introduction to the galactic community, and the revelation had been jarring in ways few could have predicted. Humans weren't just not alone in the universe, they were considered something of an oddity. Earth, with its moderate climate and stable geological conditions, was an anomaly among inhabited worlds. Most intelligent species evolved on death worlds, planets with toxic atmospheres, extreme temperatures, constant storms, or predators that made dinosaurs look like house pets. The Centauri homeworld had gravity 3 times Earth's, with an atmosphere of chlorine and nitrogen. The Meridians evolved underwater on a tidally locked planet where one side perpetually boiled while the other remained frozen. These harsh conditions had forged species tougher than humanity in many ways, but it also meant their home planets couldn't survive the weapons they created. "Zone designation Alpha 7 is prepared for their arrival," Jackson said, consulting his tablet. "The Australian outback has been evacuated for a 200-mile radius. All monitoring systems are active." Nadia nodded. "Let's hope they follow the rules this time." The rules were simple but vital. When the Galactic Council had approached Earth's leaders, they'd offered a deal: allow controlled conflicts on Earth's resilient surface in exchange for advanced technology and protection. Earth would serve as a neutral battleground where species could settle their disputes without rendering their fragile homeworlds uninhabitable. Many had protested, of course, but in the end, pragmatism won. Earth gained faster-than-light travel, medical advances that eliminated most diseases, and clean energy technology that ended climate change. All they had to do was provide a sandbox for aliens to fight in. The Centauri vessel landed precisely where designated in the red desert of the Australian outback. Dust clouds billowed around it as the ship settled, its obsidian hull stretching nearly a kilometer in length. The vessel was shaped like a manta ray, with sweeping wings and a tapered body. Nadia arrived by shuttle an hour later, her uniform crisp despite the desert heat already climbing past 90 degrees. The Centauri wouldn't mind, their homeworld regularly reached temperatures that would melt lead. "Remember," said Director Powell over her earpiece, "show no weakness. They respect strength above all else." "I've met Centauri before," Nadia replied quietly. "I know what I'm doing." A seam appeared in the hull of the massive ship, widening into a doorway from which 3 figures emerged. The central figure stood nearly 3 meters tall, with a broad torso covered in chitinous plates that gleamed like polished onyx. 4 arms emerged from its torso, each ending in 3-fingered hands, while its face featured 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern around a vertical slit mouth. "I am General Vorix of the Centauri Imperium," the creature announced, its voice surprisingly melodic despite coming from such an intimidating form. "We come to settle our dispute with the Meridians as permitted under Treaty 872 of the Galactic Council." Nadia stepped forward, unflinching despite being dwarfed by the alien. "Welcome to Earth, General Vorix. I am Captain Nadia Reeves, Earth's diplomatic representative. We have prepared the zone according to treaty specifications." Vorix's upper eyes narrowed slightly. "Your species continues to fascinate me, human. Most would fear hosting a conflict between civilizations that could turn your atmosphere to acid with a single miscalculation. We honor our agreements," Nadia replied simply. "So you say?" Vorix made a clicking sound that might have been laughter. "The Meridians arrive soon. Their advanced scout reports they'll be here within 30 minutes. We'll escort you to the command center where you can prepare." The Meridian ship arrived exactly on schedule. Unlike the dark, angular Centauri vessel, their craft resembled a silver teardrop with pulsing blue veins running along its hull. It didn't land but hovered several meters above the desert floor, a display of their mastery of gravitational technology. The Meridians themselves were as different from the Centauri as could be imagined. Where the Centauri were massive and heavily armored, the Meridians stood barely taller than humans, with translucent blue-green skin that revealed shadowy organs beneath. Their limbs were slender, ending in 7-fingered hands, and their heads featured no eyes but rather sensory ridges that glowed with bioluminescence. Their leader glided forward with unsettling grace. "I am Commander Talus of the Meridian Collective," it said, its voice creating the sensation of water flowing over stones. "Earth continues to provide excellent service to the galaxy." The alien's head tilted, sensory ridges pulsing. "Such a stable world. It must be terribly boring for your kind." Nadia maintained a neutral expression. "We find ways to keep occupied." "I'm sure you do," Talus replied, the water voice carrying an undercurrent of condescension. "Now, shall we discuss the terms of engagement? I assume the local population has been removed to a safe distance." "The zone is clear for 200 miles, Lieutenant Jackson confirmed. All monitoring systems are active. Any violation of the boundary will result in immediate reporting to the Galactic Council." Of course, Talus said, waving a seven-fingered hand dismissively. "We would never endanger innocent lives. This is between us and the Zentari." In the command center, a reinforced bunker at the edge of the battle zone, Nadia watched as both alien forces prepared for combat. On the monitors, she could see massive war machines being unloaded from both ships. The Zentari weapons were bulky and angular, radiating heat that distorted the air around them. The Meridian technology was organic-looking, with weapons that pulsed and shifted like living creatures. "Those Zentari plasma cannons could level a mountain range," Jackson observed, pointing to a particularly large weapon being positioned. "And those Meridian sonic disruptors could liquefy every organ in a human body from 5 miles away," Nadia added. "This is precisely why they can't fight on their home worlds. The damage would be catastrophic." A young technician approached, her face pale. "Captain, we're detecting unusual scanning patterns from both alien camps. They appear to be probing beyond the designated battle zone." Nadia and Jackson exchanged concerned glances. "Expand monitoring coverage," she ordered, "and alert all human forces to stand by. I've never trusted either of these species to play entirely by the rules." As night fell over the Australian desert, lights from the alien encampments cast eerie shadows across the landscape. Tomorrow the battle would begin, but Nadia couldn't shake the feeling that both sides had more planned than a simple skirmish. She studied the global map on the command center wall, the battle zone marked in red among dozens of others from previous alien conflicts. Earth had always recovered from these battles. The aliens believed Earth was simple and resilient, but ultimately unimportant, a convenient battlefield of no strategic value beyond its stability. They were wrong about that last part. And if they broke the rules of engagement, they would discover just how wrong they were. Nadia picked up a secure phone and entered a 12-digit code that few humans knew existed. "This is Reeves," she said when the line connected. "Activate Protocol Watchdog. I believe our guests might be planning to overstay their welcome." On the screens behind her, the alien war machines continued to deploy, unaware that Earth had surprises of its own. The aliens thought Earth was too safe, too gentle to produce a species capable of true warfare. They were about to learn their mistake. Humanity reveals its teeth. The first rays of dawn crept across the red desert as the battle between the Zentari and Meridian forces began. From the observation center, Captain Nadia Reeves watched massive energy weapons tear across the landscape, turning sand to glass and rock to vapor. The ground trembled with each impact, sensors registering temperatures that would melt steel at the point of contact. "Their weaponry exceeds anything they've deployed in previous conflicts," Lieutenant Jackson observed, his eyes fixed on the readings scrolling across the screen. "The Meridian sonic disruptors are operating at 30% higher frequency than our records indicate they're capable of." "The Zentari plasma cannons as well," Nadia replied, studying the battle formations with narrowed eyes. "They've been holding back during previous engagements." The aliens fought with spectacular ferocity, their war machines clashing in explosions of light and sound that would have been beautiful if not so deadly. The Zentari ground forces advanced in tight formations, their four-armed soldiers wielding weapons that fired streams of superheated plasma. The Meridians countered with swift, organic-looking vehicles that seemed to anticipate attacks before they came, darting between volleys with impossible precision. But something was wrong. "Captain, I'm detecting anomalous movement patterns," called out Technical Officer Wei from her monitoring station. "Several Meridian units are breaking from the main engagement zone." Nadia moved quickly to Wei's station, studying the satellite feed. A group of sleek Meridian vehicles had indeed separated from the battle, moving west toward the boundary. "Give me visual confirmation," she ordered. The main screen shifted to show the desert landscape from a high-altitude drone. There was no mistake. Several Meridian units were speeding across the sand, away from the battle and toward the perimeter. "Contact the Meridian Command immediately," Nadia said, her voice sharp. "Remind them of the boundary restrictions." The communications officer tried, then shook her head. "They're not responding, Captain." "What about the Centauri?" Jackson asked, checking another monitor. "Any reaction from them?" "There." Continuing the battle as if nothing's happening, Wei replied, confusion evident in her voice. "It's almost as if they don't notice or they're in on it," Nadia finished grimly. This was their plan all along. She pressed a button on the command console. "All stations, this is Captain Reeves. We have a code Crimson situation. Activate defensive measures at the boundary. Non-lethal warnings only at this stage." On the screens, they watched as camouflage defense turrets rose from the sand at the edge of the battle zone. The weapons had been disguised as rock formations and scrub, part of Earth's hidden defensive network. They fired targeted electromagnetic pulses in front of the advancing Meridian vehicles. The Meridian scouts halted momentarily, then changed direction, moving north instead. "They're testing our perimeter," Jackson said, probing for weak spots. Another alarm sounded, this one more urgent. "Captain, we've got Centauri forces moving south now," called out Wei. "They're mirroring the Meridian movements." Nadia's face hardened. "They're coordinating. I want all boundary defenses activated now." She turned to the communications officer. "Get me a secure line to Global Command. Authorization code Phoenix 7 Delta." In a subterranean facility 300 meters beneath the Australian outback, Director Olivia Hammond watched the same feeds with growing concern. Behind her, rows of military personnel monitored systems that existed in no public record. "They're working together," her deputy said, stating what was now obvious. "Yes," Hammond's voice remained calm despite the situation. "And now we know why they chose Earth for their so-called battles all these years." "Intelligence gathering," the deputy concluded. Hammond nodded. "They've been mapping our defenses, testing our responses. Today they're making their move." She turned to a communications officer. "Status of orbital platforms. All satellites in position, Director. Defense grid at full capacity. Project Thunderhead is on standby. And Project Mirage, ready for activation." Hammond nodded once. "Inform allied nations. It's time." Back at the observation bunker, Nadia received the call she'd been dreading. "Reeves," she answered, her voice tense. "This is Global Command," came the response. "Your assessment is confirmed. Both alien forces are now in direct violation of the treaty. The Galactic Council has been notified, but their nearest representatives are hours away." "We can't wait hours," Nadia said, watching as more alien units broke away from the main battle. They were spreading out in all directions now. "They're attempting a full perimeter breach." "Understood. You are authorized to activate Protocol Aegis. All necessary measures to contain the threat." Nadia took a deep breath. Acknowledged. "Reeves out." She turned to Jackson, who was already watching her with understanding in his eyes. "It's time to show them what Earth can really do," he said quietly. Nadia nodded. "Activate Protocol Aegis. All defensive systems to full capacity." Around the observation bunker, the ground began to shift. What had appeared to be natural formations, hills, rock outcroppings, even small mesas, started to change. Metal surfaces emerged from beneath sand and stone as Earth's hidden defenses revealed themselves. In the sky above, clouds parted as camouflaged platforms descended. They had been there all along, invisible to alien sensors thanks to technology humans had developed in secret. On the battlefield, both Centauri and Meridian forces paused as they detected the sudden appearance of hundreds of weapons systems surrounding the battle zone. "Open a channel to both command ships," Nadia ordered. "Let's see if they want to talk now." General Vorix's face appeared on the main screen, his four eyes narrowed in surprise. Beside him, a separate window showed Commander Talus, the Meridian's sensory ridges flashing with rapid pulses. "This is Captain Nadia Reeves of Earth Defense," Nadia said, her voice firm. "Your forces have violated the terms of the treaty. You have exactly 1 minute to recall all units to the designated zone, or we will take action." "What is this?" Vorix demanded. "Your world is unsuited for defense. Your species evolved on a gentle planet. That's what we wanted you to believe," Nadia replied. "Earth isn't a death world like your home planets, it's true. But that doesn't mean we can't defend it." "Your weapons cannot match ours," Talus said. though the water voice had lost its usual confidence. "We have technology beyond your understanding." "Do you?" Lieutenant Jackson stepped forward. "Or do you have exactly the technology we've allowed you to see during your visits?" On the battlefield, both alien forces had stopped advancing. Their commanders were clearly reassessing the situation as more and more Earth defenses revealed themselves. "One last chance," Nadia said. "Return to the designated zone or face the consequences." Neither alien commander responded immediately. They were calculating, weighing their options. Nadia nodded to Jackson. "Show them what just one of our systems can do." Jackson pressed a command into his console. One of the newly revealed defense platforms targeted an empty area of desert between the alien forces. A beam of concentrated energy shot down, striking the sand. The impact created a perfect circle of glass 200 meters wide, the sand instantly vitrified by heat far beyond what either alien force had demonstrated. In the silence that followed, Nadia leaned forward. "That was just a demonstration. Now what's it going to be? Peace? Or do we show you what humans from a gentle planet can really do when threatened?" For 15 long seconds, no one moved. The holographic faces of Voryx and Talus stared at Nadia, their expressions unreadable to human eyes. On the battlefield, both forces remained frozen, weapons still powered, but no longer firing. Then General Voryx spoke, his melodic voice now subdued. "Very clever, humans. You have hidden much from the galaxy. As you have hidden your true intentions from us," Nadia countered. "Why the deception? Why pretend to fight each other while planning to attack Earth?" Talus's sensory ridges pulsed slowly. "Attack? No, no. Think of it more as claiming what we need." "And what would that be?" Jackson asked. "A perfect training ground," Voryx said simply. "Do you know how rare planets like yours are in the galaxy? Stable, temperate, with varied environments, but no truly deadly areas. The perfect place to train soldiers and test weapons," Talus added, "without the risks of our home worlds or the expense of creating artificial environments." Nadia's eyes narrowed. "So all these years, these battles were just a way to scout Earth for a full invasion?" "Invasion is such an ugly word," Talus said, waving a 7-fingered hand. "We would have allowed your species to remain, under supervision, of course." "Your hidden defenses are impressive," Voryx admitted, "but they cannot stand against the combined might of our forces. You have shown your hand too early, human." On another screen, Nadia could see both alien forces beginning to regroup. They were forming a unified front now, no longer pretending to fight each other. Nadia exchanged a glance with Jackson, then pressed a button on her console, muting the transmission. "They're stalling," she said quietly, "buying time to coordinate their attack." Jackson nodded. "Our demonstration didn't scare them enough." "Then we need to show them more," Nadia said, her face grim. She reopened the channel to the alien commanders. "You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawing from Earth orbit. After that, we will consider this an act of war." Talus's water voice rippled with amusement. "War? Your species has never fought beyond your own atmosphere. You have no fleet, no orbital defenses that we haven't already mapped." "Are you certain about that?" Nadia asked. She nodded to a communications officer, who sent a coded signal. On the screen showing Earth orbit, 6 patches of empty space suddenly shimmered and changed. Where there had been nothing, massive space stations now appeared, their advanced cloaking systems deactivated. Each station was bristling with weapons unlike anything the aliens had seen on Earth's surface. The designs were clearly human but incorporated principles that neither the Zentari nor Meridians recognized. "Impossible," Voryx whispered, all 4 eyes widening. "You're not the only ones who can keep secrets," Nadia said. "For 15 years, we've been studying your technology, adapting it, improving upon it. Every battle you fought here gave us more data, more understanding." "But your species," Talus began, "evolved on a safe world?" Nadia finished for him. "Yes. And that's precisely why we're dangerous. Species from death worlds like yours evolved to survive physical threats, extreme temperatures, toxic atmospheres, deadly predators. But humans? We evolved to outthink threats. When we couldn't outfight something, we outthought it." On the screens, more human defenses were revealing themselves. Hidden bunkers opened across the desert. Advanced fighter craft rose from underground hangars. In orbit, what appeared to be debris from old satellites reconfigured into defensive arrays. "Your 20 seconds are nearly up," Nadia said calmly. "What's your decision?" The alien commanders looked at each other through their separate screens, their alliance of convenience suddenly on shaky ground. "We will withdraw," Vorik said finally, his melodic voice flat. "But this is not over." "Oh, I think it is," Nadia replied. "From now on, Earth is no longer available as your battlefield. We've renegotiated our status with the Galactic Council while you were busy planning your little invasion. As of today, Earth is recognized as a sovereign power, not a neutral zone." "The Council would never," Talus began. "They already have," Nadia interrupted, displaying a document bearing the Council's seal. "Once we presented evidence of your treaty violations and conspiracy, the alien commanders fell silent, calculating their options. You have 1 hour to withdraw completely from Earth space," Nadia continued. "After that, we cannot guarantee your safety. And inform your governments. The next alien vessels that enter our system uninvited will be considered hostile." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. For a moment, no one spoke. "Will they comply?" Jackson asked finally. Nadia nodded slowly. "They will. They've just realized that they've been underestimating us all along." She turned to face the room of officers and technicians. "But they won't be the last to try something like this. Today marks a new chapter for Earth in the galaxy." On the screens, the alien forces were already retreating, their war machines returning to their ships. "So much for Earth being too safe," Jackson said with a slight smile. Nadia looked out across the desert, where the evidence of battle was already being erased by Earth's hidden systems. "They thought our evolution on a gentle world made us weak," she said quietly. "But they forgot predators don't just evolve on death worlds. Sometimes they evolve in paradise too."